Hi, team. So you found the perfect job and it's time to update your resume. This video is all about how we go about structuring our resume and tailoring the resume toward the job we're interested in. It wasn't that long ago, I remember my first time writing a resume for a particular professional role, and I remember being told, tailor it to a position. And I wrote my objective to secure this position and kind of thought that was it. Tailoring a resume, regardless of the job, requires an extensive amount of effort and time. We should anticipate every time we apply for a job, we should be spending at least an hour or two tweaking what our resume looks like in order to help it best fit the particular role we're applying for. With that said, everybody has their expert opinion about what a resume should look like. Just like the cover letter, I'm going to provide my best recommendations for how we tailor a resume for a particular role, and I'm going to give the reasons why these reasons are going to make us at least highly competitive in that screening process and give us the best chance toward getting an interview. All right, so let's get into it. After the name and contact information are included at the very top of our resume, the first decision we have to make is, do we use an objective or something more like a professional summary? I am not a fan at all of using an objective. What an objective has done in the past is communicate to the employer exactly the position we're interested in applying for. I tend to believe the objective is a waste of space for the reason the hiring manager already knows we're interested in applying for this particular role. So we're kind of wasting space by saying, I'm interested in applying for this production manager position. Of course you're interested in applying for this production manager position, or I would hope we haven't submitted our resume. This is why a professional summary is so much more valuable on a resume. A professional summary is a short 2 to 3 sentence blip, highlighting exactly who we are as a person. What is it about our education and our professional background that we can say makes us the perfect fit for this particular role? The only way for us to begin answering this question is to print off that job description and get a really good understanding of what are the expectations of this role. As we break down that job description, we quickly realize this is really our cheat sheet in terms of how we begin tailoring our resume for this role. Finishing up with our professional summary, what are the 2 to 3 sentences that you can say about your professional background, whether that's experience or education, that will really help that hiring manager see, yes, this person has potential. I'm interested in seeing the rest of their resume. Once we finish the professional summary section, I kind of like the next section to be something related to attributes and competencies. You may or may not have seen this section in a resume before, but really it's these short little bullets, a list of the different knowledge, skills, and other attributes you have that specifically align with this particular role. In a job description, we often see a brief description about the job. We see an entire list of different tasks or responsibilities that are performed. We often see a core list of different knowledge, skills, and abilities this employer expects this individual to have in order to be successful doing all of those different tasks. As we look at all of those, the knowledge, the skills, and abilities, we should be looking at our own resume and asking ourselves, do we include those terms in there? The reason this section is so important is because it kind of gives us a leg up in any type of filtering or screening system that the employer is looking for. So a lot of organizations have what we call a filtering system that looks for keywords in all of their applicants' resumes. And if those keywords are not included, we are very unlikely to make it through that filtering system and get our resume and the rest of our application package in front of an actual human's eyes. So by including those keywords, by highlighting the knowledge, skills, and abilities we have, we position ourselves to be much more likely to get the rest of our application in front of humans. The next section is about our professional experience. Our professional experience is where we talk about all the different jobs we've had and what we've specifically contributed to the organization as a result of performing this job. Notice I didn't say we talk about all the things we did. This is a significant adjustment for some of us to make on our resumes. A resume shouldn't necessarily outline exclusively, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did. Instead, we should be thinking about how did we, as an individual, contribute to the success of our individual teams, our department, our division, or the organization as a whole. Let's take, for example, somebody who's had experience providing training to employees. In some respects or some resumes, we might say responsible for training new employees. That's a responsibility. But if we flip it to how have we contributed to the organization, we might say something along the lines of provided new employee onboarding to more than 200 employees, which ultimately led to the successful retention of new employees by such and such rate, or improved the retention of employees who reached the 6-month mark by 300%. We're clearly outlining what our contribution has been to the organization as a result of the training we have provided. It's important we go back to that job description and break down all of those different tasks and responsibilities we're going to be asked to perform and contrast those tasks with what do we say and communicate in our resume. This is where an important aspect of tailoring our resume really occurs. We should be highlighting all of those tasks in the job description, and then we should be able to comparatively highlight in our own resume where do we communicate we specifically did that and to what extent, or what was our impact actually doing that task or responsibility in a previous experience. Now, if we don't have a whole lot of professional work experience, that doesn't mean we haven't done some of these things. An internship is certainly professional work experience, but even work we did in college or in high school, maybe we did volunteer work or we've done volunteer work in the past. This stuff can all relate to professional type experience we can demonstrate to here's the impact we've made on this organization or with this group. In an ideal world, we'd be able to take all of those different tasks and clearly communicate in our resume at what point in our career, in our professional experiences, have we done this stuff. We're helping that hiring manager see firsthand, not only do we know how to do this stuff, but we can perform these tasks at a high level. The next component of our resume is likely going to be our education. Now, we might flip education and professional experience if we don't have a whole lot of professional experience. If we do have a decent amount of professional experience, I still like us putting that up first. In our education section, here's where we can clearly communicate basically what else in our background will help us perform this job. Let's take, for example, in the job description, it states minimum education is a bachelor's degree in management. Okay, well, hopefully we have a bachelor's degree in management or something very closely related. If we don't have a degree in management, it's important we take advantage of this education section to highlight what coursework or what education do we have that aligns with the management field. Maybe we minored in business management, or we took some electives in management. This is our chance to communicate, yeah, maybe we don't have the bachelor's degree, but we do have this specific coursework. Alternatively, maybe there's very little to do in the position description related to an education, but there are specific tasks that one would be expected to perform while doing this job. Let's take, for instance, the position includes responsibility for managing a social media campaign. Maybe we don't have any experience doing that whatsoever, but we did take a really interesting communication course related to social media marketing. This is a really good time to highlight, as part of our education background, we've taken a course or various courses related to the impact of social media on society, social media marketing, social media management, organization branding, strategy development when it comes to social media. Incorporating this type of stuff in our education can help us overcome any shortcomings that hiring manager is going to see in our experience section. Now, sometimes at the very end of a resume, we see different things like our hobbies or interests. If those hobbies or interests or even volunteer work have very little, if anything, to do with the position, I'm not a fan of it. As a hiring manager, I don't really care that you like cooking or you're a fan of football or fishing. It doesn't make a difference to me because it doesn't tell me you can actually do the job. Taking a step back, as we think about tailoring our resume, everything we include, regardless of the different section, should be intentionally aligned with the job description we've been given. If we look at the job description as our cheat sheet in terms of this is what the hiring manager is looking for out of a resume, we're going to be doing a much better job of positioning ourselves as a viable candidate, and we're going to be really playing the game of getting a job at a high level. I wish you the best of luck in this resume development process, and good luck getting that interview. Hey team, if you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button, as each week we're putting out more videos related to not only the screw-ups I've made in my career, but also the strategies we can use to help us advance in our careers. Time for development. Invest in yourself.